What's up, everybody? Welcome to For the Record. I'm your host, Rob Markman, okay? After a long wait, we finally got it. It's finally here. That's right. Big Sean's Detroit 2 is here. And we're all trying to figure out how to cope with everything that's going on in the world. So it came right on time, all right? The album is hard. The album is bar heavy. The beats is banging. And most importantly, it's human. So you know we had to talk about it, man. I got Big Sean. I got Hitboy right here, man. What's up? Welcome to For the Record.
What up, though? I like that intro. I appreciate that.
You know,
great intro, man.
Y'all know my big brother is Sway, man. I think Sway gives the most legendary intros.
Absolutely.
So I try to learn from him.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that though. That was right on though. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling optimistic. You know, some days are better than others. And I think we all going through it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel optimistic, especially with this album. You know, I think when we just get dope hip hop music, especially.
Mm-hmm.
It just do something to us. I think as a people and as a generation.
Man, I'm glad you feel like that about it. You know, that was the whole goal. My whole goal in making an album was to give people an album that they didn't know they needed. You know what I'm saying? But when they hear it, you know, that they would be like, "Damn, this is what I needed." You know. So that was like my main intention. I probably said that to Hitboy. I've said that to a whole bunch of people a lot of times. Like, you know I needed inspiration. I needed just like encouragement. I needed like to feel motivated. So, you know, I feel like that's what I wanted to put in the music too.
You know what it is too, man, because I think you share your triumphs with us.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely on this album share your low points with us.
Absolutely.
But you never lose confidence. Like you always sound super confident in who you are. You know what I'm saying, and what your goals are, and you know I think that radiates, and I think that's central to the album. So, you know, maybe I'm gonna throw this one to Hit because okay, so Sean talks about his intention, right? Like when you kind of set things off, what does that mean for you musically and your role in this album? Like how do you help bring that to life or craft a sound around the vision that he's talking about?
Yeah, it's crazy to think about all like the heaviness that's going on right now, but Sean was already tapped in on this before the corona, you know, the pandemic, all that stuff popped off. He was already just trying to uplift the people, trying to make people feel great. So for that to happen, it just I feel like intensified that feeling and made him really dig into that bag to where like when you hear this, like you motivated, but you don't feel like it's overbearing. Like you can enjoy the music, but he just was real direct about, you know, how he wanted to touch like individuals.
Nah, that's real. And then, you know, Detroit too. When did it occur to you, Sean, that this album had to be Detroit 2? Because I caught wind of it on Overtime. When you dropped Overtime, you was already giving us like hints when you was like, "Oh, I know your favorite one, dog. I'm about to drop the sequel." Right. And it's just a preview. So like already I started scratching my head like, "Yo, what is he up to?"
Yeah, I just was feeling like, I feel like from the jump of making this new batch of music, you know, which turned into the album Detroit 2, like my intentions were always like, you know, I want to make this Detroit 2, but I know what that means as well. I knew the expectations. I knew what it meant to me, not just from that level, but of digging deep in myself, because it was like, I know when I was coming from a place of pure passion, pure hunger, a place of discovery, you know, discovering myself when I made Detroit 1. So it was like, I felt like I was at a point in my life where I was returning back to that in a new way though. You know, I was expanding my bandwidth, you know what I'm saying, and figuring out how to return back to my passion, because I feel like I lost it a little bit. I felt like I always wanted the desire to make good music, but I feel like it wasn't always there, and I had to like rediscover my hunger. And definitely Hitboy helped with that a lot, you know what I'm saying, because that's like the most hungry like person I've ever worked with. Like he just like is back to back passionate about it.
We was uplifting each other the whole time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Every time you was calling me or pulling up, like that was giving me the confidence to really just go deep as I can on the production side. And just like, you know, you're a real particular, specific person. So sometimes we might do something and it's crazy, whole room going crazy. Then you wake up the next morning like, this ain't it. So you got to just stay in that mode of like, okay, don't get too caught up on one idea. Just like when it's flushed out though, it's going to be right and everybody going to be happy. happy, and that's what the whole Detroit 2 is. Like every idea was flushed out to the max capacity. It wasn't just we laying down bars or just cooking up a quick beat. Like we was specific,
Bro, like it was songs we redid so many times. Like
I was ready to retire almost.
That intro we did, like Hit made like 3 fire beats too, like 3 or 4 beats to that. And I know like Body Language, I wrote 5 different versions of that song. And literally like different verses, different everything. And even The Baddest with No ID, that was like a song I had wrote a couple times, couldn't figure out. So it was certain things that that's how I am. No, I can't front on how I am, I remember Hit was like, man, you gotta trust me. And I'm like, I trust you, bro. I'm just like, I gotta like keep it real with myself.
Nah, and that go back to the thing that Rob said about just it being human. You know what I'm saying? We kept it just real the whole time. Like if he was feeling naturally, he'd be like, man, there's something about it that's just not hitting me the way I wanted to. And to me, like I'm like, bro, how can I get in your mind to fucking understand this? But we just kept flushing it out until everything was just top tier.
What kind of challenge was that for you? Hit? I mean, because one, like, dog, your accolades and your history speak for itself. Like it just is what it is. It's cemented. But I feel like this year has been a super impactful year for you. I mean, you and Nas did King's Disease, and I'm even hearing Nas in interviews talk about how he draws inspiration from you. How he might start with half an idea and not think it's good, but you give Nas the confidence to say, "Nah, go with that. Take that all the way to the finish line."
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Sean is on King's Disease, so it's a family thing, and just running off that momentum. Like I'm already in the middle of dedicating everything I got to Detroit too. So when we was working on King's Disease, I'm damn near just feeding off both. Like I'm putting my energy into both of them as much as I can, and it's just all feeding off each other, man.
I don't know how he did it. I really don't know how he did that shit, because it's like, I know how hard it is to focus on one project, so I don't know how he was able to do a whole Nas classic album.
Yeah, it's hard.
And then do, I feel like my best album too. I feel like this is my best album so far.
And we didn't even talk about $500,000 with Dom Kennedy, like working with that.
Yeah, I know.
Dom on Detroit too. That's what I'm saying. Yep. It's all just a family connection, and it's all everybody who just I like how you just said, like keeping it human, dog. We all just keep it A1. Give our we all giving our most high thoughts to the process. Like when we making a song, Dom, he heard the beat. He was like, look, I got this 4-bar hook idea. Boom, laid it. Next thing you know, Sean thought of them bars, which is crazy to Uber the dozen roses. Like we just all feeding off each other, man, and that shit was just a beautiful process.
That's dope, Benji. Verses as well. I say all that to say you've been having a busy ass year, dog. You might be the hardest working one out of everybody this year.
No, for real.
And it don't go unrecognized. I want to acknowledge that.
Appreciate that, bro.
Another thing that I want to acknowledge, Sean, I've been a fan of you for a long time, man, since the mixtapes. You know what I mean? And so, and we've been fans for you for well over a decade. And it's always so interesting to me when you get to learn new things about your favorite artists, like how they grew up, not just who you are now, but who you were back then. So on Lucky Me, man, you go into and talk about being diagnosed with heart disease at 19, and doctors want to do surgeries and give you a pacemaker, but getting a more natural prescription for somebody holistic. And it kind of just made me think, like, that story could have came out. That's an amazing story. What made now the right time for you to tell that story? Because you could have told us that any time within the 10 years for you to open up about that.
Man, what's crazy is when I was doing a lot of work away from the music on myself and just thinking back to those times when I was younger, and I was just literally revisiting that part of my life. Like there was this meditation I did. I was telling Hit about. I hope this don't sound weird, but I'm gonna just keep it real. I did this meditation where I would go back to my younger self, and I would go back to my younger self and pay attention to how I feel, and then I would bring that back with me in the present. And after one of the times I did that, I thought of that episode, that moment in my life, and I think I never talked about it before because I blocked it out because it was such a situation where I didn't like it. I hated experiencing that. I hated being in that hospital bed, I remember passing out in the shower and splitting my chin open, and I was just bleeding everywhere, and I had to go get stitches. And that's when I got my heart tested, because I couldn't even walk from one side of a room to another side of the room without like being tired. Your heart's supposed to beat like that on an electric current, and my heart was beating like that. So it was a syndrome. I forgot the exact name. It's something like Bugatti syndrome. Kind of reminded me of like a Bugatti or something like that. And they were basically saying that, yeah, they had to put a pacemaker in my heart, or they had to cut the top of my heart open and scar it so the electric currents could run through the scars. But then my mom took me to a holistic doctor, Dr. Brownstein, that's still in Michigan, who's still doing great, and still one of my good friends too, to this day. And he gave me, he prescribed me magnesium along with a couple other things. But what magnesium does is it's a natural way of putting your body on its natural rhythm. And it does so many other things too. Like I still take it every night before I go to sleep because it helps me sleep too. So, that was just one of the lessons that taught me that, Western medicine isn't always the answer. Sometimes you got to go the holistic way. That Eastern medicine is really where it's at, because it's more particular. A lot of times Western medicine will look up your symptoms and be like, oh, you have this, as opposed to holistic. They really, really dial into you as an individual. And I think that makes a world of difference,
That's why I say too that the album is right on time, and obviously that's a personal experience that you didn't intend, right? But just take
Right.
a line like that, right? And I think in the time when people are thinking to themselves, how can I be more healthy? How can I be more health conscious with COVID? We're just thinking of ways to be more sanitary, just to keep ourselves from infection and across the board. You might inspire somebody to, you know what, I'm gonna look into some holistic options the next time I'm sick or whatever.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, I haven't been sick bro, I've been stressing myself out so much too, like on and off. And I ain't been sick in like at least a couple years now. So it like the precautions, the supplements, the vitamins I take, the workouts I do, all that stuff, dog, it really, really pays off. So I want to like get in deeper into that another time, because, hopefully people can learn something from that.
Man, I could speak to that, bro. Just this morning, somebody DM me a bottle of magnesium and was like, tell Sean I said thanks. He was like, man, I've been having heart issues. He was like, this shit already got me feeling better. So literally this morning I got a DM.
Wow.
Man, you know what I'm saying?
That's real. But that speaks to the power of our music and our culture. Even somebody, rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle.
Exactly.
Dr. Sebi, he be teaching health. Like even a line like that will just force, whether it be on Genius or wherever, right? Will force people to look up Dr. Sebi. Yo, what was he about? My favorite rapper is talking about him. I gotta look into that. Oh, this is what he was on. Maybe there are other options for me.
And that's why I mentioned Dr. Sebi too on Harder Than My Demons, because it was like, obviously Deep Reverence, it's an amazing song, but one of the things I made a promise for myself was to carry on the message of Nipsey Hussle too, as much as I can. You know what I'm saying? Like the message of like unification of black business, of like, preaching health to our people. You know what I mean? Like, so I kept that in mind as well, working on songs like Heart of My Demons or Lucky Me, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like for sure Nip was in the back of my mind, because me and him alike, we had that in common. That was one of the couple things that me and him had in common with each other. It was like we was trying to be healthier here and healthier here. So,
Sean, do you remember? It made me think of this listening to Deep Reverence, and I've been thinking about this day a lot. Before I was at Genius, I was at MTV. Before I was at MTV, I was at Double XL, and we shot a freshman cover that you were on.
Yeah,
along with Nip was there that day, among Freddie Gibbs, J. Cole, Wiz Khalifa.
J. Cole missed his flight though.
He came mad late. Yeah,
he missed his flight and came late. They had to Photoshop him in.
Yeah. But do you remember? Was that the first day that you met Nipsey, or had you known Nipsey prior to even that day?
No, I known him prior to that. So I met him in 2008 at Howard Homecoming, and that was the first time we linked up. And he was just the first time I met him. We was in a corner store, and somebody was talking crazy, like I don't know if it was like a bum or something. And, he said some wild disrespectful shit to Nip, like something about blood, something like blood. and Nip held him up, choked him up real quick, and said 60s, cuz, you know what I'm saying? Like,
did the TMZ cameras catch that too? You know, you have to line on deep reference.
Yeah. And it's just it just showed the character he was. He just was like, he was about his. He not gonna take no disrespect, and I admire that. You know what I'm saying? And that's when the first time we met. You know what I'm saying? He literally turned around. I was like, "Oh, what's up?" I'm like, "Oh shit," And we kicked it for a while. So when we saw each other at the freshman shoot, it was like I was happy to see my brother there for sure. Like, he deserved it.
That was a dope day. I tried to describe that day just being in the presence of that group of MCs, and everyone was special, at least that I was a part of. But that one really held a special place. I don't know if you remember, Kendrick was there that day too, because J-Rock was on the cover.
Yo, this is so crazy, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I have a whole song about this whole day.
That's why I'm laughing. Like,
yeah. So I have a freestyle I did that's dedicated to this whole day, where I'm just describing the whole day.
It's fire too.
And I hate to spill the beans, but yeah, it's something we did called Freshman 10, and it's literally just me paying respect to that day and Double XL and you and everybody who was there, and just painting the picture through my eyes. You know what I'm saying? So that's a song. It's something I did for the fans. Me and Hitboy both did.
That's so funny. Like, when he's describing it, I'm like, damn, he's just talking about the song right now.
But look, how would I know that? I had no idea about the song, but it's really just that was the impact of that day.
No, that day was crazy, and I sent it to like a few people on the cover too. I sent it to like Wiz. I sent it to Cole. I ended up talking to Cole on the phone for like a couple hours after I sent it too. Like, we just got into a deep conversation because it just took us back to that day. You know what I mean?
That's dope. I can't. Will we get that eventually? Is that coming out eventually, or are you just gonna vault it and tease it now?
No. I'm trying to actually put that out. I mean, it's really what I've been getting back to is just doing it for the fans. You know what I'm saying? From my heart. So I'll put it out. Ain't nothing holding us back from it. I'll put it out ASAP.
I need that Hitboy, man. We gotta hold them to it, man.
It's like straight for my rap fans though. It's straight for the spitters. You know what I mean?
That's me, dog. You talking right?
I'm definitely pushing for that.
What about?
I was about to put it on the album, but it was just so. It's like there were so many songs that were supposed to make the album that, it was just getting too long at a point. It was like we had to like hold some of the songs.
It's cool, man. You can put it out when we ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
You had the line on there too, directed to Kendrick after what happened with Nipsey. I reached out to Kendrick. Mm-hmm. Wasn't no real issues there to begin with. I remember hearing about the conversation. It was around the time. It was right after Dreamville Fest, right? 2019.
Yeah.
What was that conversation like for you guys to fix whatever misunderstandings? Was it awkward? Was it straightforward? Like, how were you able to cut through whatever the noise was or the misconceptions and get right to the heart of the matter and repair that?
It was very easy to do. It wasn't like a hard thing, or it wasn't awkward. It was actually, it felt like it was supposed to happen, and it was just mutual respect between me and him, and it felt very like, it felt right. It felt mature. It felt like this was like, we supposed to stick together. You know what I'm saying? We ain't supposed to even think about being against each other. It's like our brothers getting killed. You know what I'm saying? Niggas getting shot, stabbed, choked. So it's like, it's really only one enemy, and it's not us. It's not any of us. We actually got to come together and show a sense of community as more than ever. So it was very easy and very like refreshing. You know what I'm saying?
Because look, man, a thing that happens is the question is, when did you first realize that there was actually a problem or that there was something that needed to be ironed out? Versus fans hear things, theorize, oh, this line was about so-and-so, that line was about so-and-so. So, but my question to you is, how much of that was real to you? And then at what point did you be like, yo, this is getting out of hand? Like, this, like, you know what I mean?
I can't remember exactly. But I just remember sometimes being like, man, some people say that he was talking to you at this thing, but he, without saying my name or vice versa. I guess he heard that, like, oh, I heard that Sean was talking about you, even though I didn't say no names. And so it's just like, I don't know. It was just like he say, she say a lot of it. And then when we talk, it was just like, that's the direct contact that you need, you know, because people could pour gasoline on anything.
Right. And then look, the other thing is hip hop is competitive. You know what I'm saying? So how do you balance that? You talk about this need or this yearning to build community together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And bring community together. And not that you have anything to prove at this point in your career, but is there a conflict of you wanting to beat your chest? You know what I'm saying? Because you know your caliber MC, but still embracing all of those around you. Like basically, are you against kind of competitive rap at this point? Do you see yourself getting involved in those type of things?
No, I ain't against that at all. But that's just
the option's still on the table.
Well, no, it's not even
not with him. I'm talking about in general.
Yeah, in general, competitive. No, I mean, it's cool. It just is. People get it confused with it being more than that, though. You know, people. I feel like it's whatever you want to do. It's no rules to it. But for me personally, I just know where I'm headed, and I'm doing this out of purpose right now. You know, that's just where my head is. It's not really a competitive thing because competition is amazing. Like, I love watching the playoffs and shit, right? I love watching basketball, but I feel like when niggas come off the court, they homies. You know what I mean? Like when LeBron come off the court, him and Carmelo dapping each other up, hugging each other, you know what I'm saying? So that's just where I'm at. I'm all about the keeping it like we in this together, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm not against nothing. The only thing I'm against is when niggas be hating on other people for trying to do something productive with their life or trying to do something positive with their life. To me, that's the like whack shit, you know?
Hey, how do you navigate things like that? And I'm not just talking about Sean or Kendrick, because you have relationships with everybody, and sometimes, you know, rappers go at each other, it gets competitive. You as a producer, like, man, if any of them ain't got a Hit Boy beat, like, what are they doing? Like, a lot of times you could be in the middle. Do you ever try to fix these things? Or do you just kind of stay out of it?
It's not really my place to fix. It's more so I just connect with who I connect with. So, you know, if I got a relationship with a certain artist and then somebody beefing with them and they want to work too, I mean, I might go to that artist like, yo, whoop-de-whoop want to work. 9 times out of 10, they not going to give a shit anyway because it's just music, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I do try to, you know, keep it A1, but for the most part, you know, it's all love.
I feel like that's where it's at, bro. Like, that's where the fuck it's at. Getting that money, that love, you know what I'm saying? Getting that motherfucking bread. It ain't time for nothing else, bro. We in a whole pandemic, whole recession.
How do you handle that, Sean? Like, because on Guard Your Heart, you talk about the conflict, right? Conflicted like being signed to Ye and managed by Jay. Conflicted like being cool with Pusha and Drake. Like, that's a hell of a middle to be in, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are 4 titans, you know what I'm saying, that you mentioned. So how do you navigate through things like that?
It's conflicting. I mean, that's what I was saying. Like, I was just painting a picture of like my perspective to people, you know what I'm saying? How I handle it is like none of my business really, though. That's between them. You know, it'll be people who beefing who I didn't seen be clicked up before. So it's just kind of like sometimes you got to let them work it out between themselves.
Or they'll be beefing and then be clicked up again. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you never know what's really real out here. That's why you can't get too involved. And I mean, just on some regular life shit, like just getting too involved in other people's business, period.
Yeah, that ain't even no man shit. That's like some child shit. You know what I mean?
Nah, I hear you. Everything that's missing, to me, is like super inspirational. And when you talk about kind of the conflict, right? Because we are in the music business, you are a multi-platinum artist. Like Big Sean, aside from being an artist, is a business, right? Like you employ people. Like there's a dependence on your success.
Absolutely.
And then so you kind of rap about shit. Expensive get too expensive, but you're gonna do what it takes to get the digits, even do the dishes, because you got to prove to the world how you committed. You got the whole city to inspire. So cold in the D. So through your eyes, you're on fire. So through their eyes, you're on fire. I fucked your whole shit up.
No, that's cool.
But
going platinum once, like catching lightning in a bottle.
I don't hear this album and feel like you're trying to sell me something. You know what I'm saying? I want to support it. I want to buy it. I actually put my money behind it because I was like, the streams ain't enough. But it doesn't feel like commercialism. Doesn't feel like you're chasing anything. So how do you kind of balance that, the business side of it versus the art, especially on this one?
I didn't think about the business that much when making this album. I literally just gave it all heart. It's just all like feeling. The business people around me were like, hurry up. What the fuck? What's the single? What's this? Like, what's that? Like, and I just was like, I'm just making this music that I feel like I need to make and that people, some people could relate to, some people may need to hear. And that was just my main goal for everything. So to me, everything that's missing, that took me back to a point where I remember just being in New York and being in LA before I had a deal and like trying to have these meetings with people, not getting hit back. And, I for sure have felt like, man, my prayer is going to get answered before these execs answer. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I know that feeling. And I know a lot of people are feeling like that currently. And I just wanted to give them like the faith to keep going and pushing through, because I know they need that right now. I be needing that. So, and that's every time I meet somebody from my city, like when I met T Grizzly, when I met Sada, when I met everybody, Cash, they all have said in their own way, like, man, you showed us that it was like real, like you gave us that like that inspiration, in one way or another. I'm not quoting them word for word, but they've said things along those lines. And that's like that's amazing. So whenever they win, I feel like I'm winning in a way too,
What did it mean to be able to do Friday Night Cypher? Listen, that's 11 MCs on that. Like, that's a big record. Like that, like you got to be a certain type of rap fan to really appreciate. Like that's not for anybody going through their rap phase. Like you might not be able to get that one off on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to really sit with that one. What was that like for you to put Friday Night Cypher together?
Tough. It was like, first of all, I fuck with how Hitboy accepted the challenge too of like, we're gonna make this happen, because it's a long shot as a concept. It's like, man, I want to do this song that got all these beats that like, because I used to do a radio show, the Friday Night Cypher in Detroit. That's how I really got discovered by Ye, is meeting him at that same radio station. So the show was a whole bunch of MCs will battle rap each other. Whoever will win the battle will get to rap on the radio, right? So the concept for me, that's how I got my foot in the game. So the concept was literally just to emulate that. And when I explained it to Hitboy, he like not only accepted the challenge, but like tried, thought about the best ways to make it happen. So it's like he flipped a lot of classic beats that, we rapped on a lot of those original versions during the cypher. So it just gave it that nostalgic feel too, with a new twist though.
The clips, grinding, we gonna make it. Like there's a couple flips on there. Hit from your perspective, what was that like?
Just me seeing him, I work at the studio called Chalice in Hollywood, and he rented out a room just to have that energy literally in the building. Like he had maybe 20 Detroit rappers on. It could have been more than that, but it was a lot of just Detroit energy. And I already been rocking with the Detroit wave. I did a bunch of stuff on T Grizzly album, and me and Sean obviously been locked in. But just me seeing that, I'm like, this is something that excites me. That was one of the most exciting moments of the album, just, having that energy and really just feeling where his city was fully coming from, you know what I'm saying? And for us to put it together and then get the M verse at the last minute, it just came together beautiful.
Yeah, I salute y'all for that. I mean, because we're in a phase where most songs these days aren't longer than 2 verses, because we're told that the attention spans are not long. So to get like that reminded me of coming up listening to underground radio in New York. I feel like Sean, what you're describing, I feel like every city had their version of that. You know what I mean? So though I wasn't in Detroit, it's relatable.
Yeah, it was tough to put together too. I'm not gonna lie, it was like a headache.
What was the hardest part?
The hardest part was just getting it to flow right. To me, it was like hearing it, to at least 10, 12 different versions of the song, putting it together, putting somebody's verse here, how to start it, I always knew T Grizzly was the perfect way to start it because he was actually the first one to do a verse to it too. Like he started it off.
There was other
Tiny
dope verses too that you had to cut. I know that was a excruciating.
Yeah.
Does it get political? Do you get pressure? Because I know, first of all, I know nothing's above the art for you. That you put the art above everything. But I know, like, you're a nice guy too, and you obviously created this song to create a platform for your city and give people a shot. So I know if somebody had to get cut from the song, it's no easy decision.
No, I got a lot of hate from people too. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I got a lot of like, you know, everybody on the song was very appreciative, and I know Cash Doll. I like. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like some of the verses, I just had to cut just a little bit just to make it like flow right. And people, why'd you cut my verse? You know, it's like I didn't cut it because it was whack. I had to cut it just because. You know, I even cut my verse down too, you know, even though my verse is longer, but I cut it down some. So it's just like, I did it to make it fit right. Obviously, the only verse I ain't cut was M's verse. Because, you know, you just can't touch his vocals. You know, whatever he do is what it is. And that's, you know, he on that level. Yeah, he earned that. So it's like, it worked out great though. You know, I'm happy how it turned out. And I'm happy M decided to like, do that with everybody and just it's literally like a real quick EP of like Detroit music. It like takes you through the different like layers of Detroit all on one song real quick, you know.
It definitely shows the depth. What how difficult was it, or was it at all difficult to get M on board with the idea? You know, like we had Detroit versus Everybody, which was a record that y'all did. I think that was a statement record. Like after that, you saw the T-shirts. Like it really became a thing, and I feel like this is like that. Well, the continuation, the natural progression of putting on for y'all city.
Actually, the T-shirts came before the song.
Oh, the T-shirts were before the song.
Yeah, yep. The T-shirts were. It was like a movement going on in Detroit before the song, and I think M just took it to a global. He took it to a global level, you know.
Was it tough to get him on board, or did he see the vision right away?
Really, Paul Rosenberg helped a lot with that, and Royce, you know, because when I sent it to Royce to get on, Royce was like, you sent it to Marshall? And I was like, nah, you know, I wasn't trying to bother him. And like, of course I want him on it. But, you know, I was thinking like, damn, M too big for this. You know, to me, I'm like, he like, you know, he's like on top of that mountain. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, no, just holler at him. So I reached out to Paul, hollered at him, and then he was with it, you know. And I didn't even give him that much time to do it neither. So he knocked it out in like a few days, really.
I like the statement, man. I like that you gave that platform. It was no secret. T Grizzly had a lyric about them on No Talking, and they since resolved that. They said that was a misunderstanding. Royce and T Grizzly all talked together, and that was an issue that was done and buried way before this record. And that was the last thing we had heard of it. But the first music to hear after that, even to hear T Grizzly and M on the record,
I know,
is a moment. You know what I'm saying?
It was big. It was big for my city, bro. And there was a lot of people on there. I don't even got a name and to go through who had beef. And that I was saying, like, man, fuck all this beef shit. Like, who gonna win off of that? Who wins from that? All it does is paranoia, dividing abundance and funds and opportunities, dividing fans, stress. It's just like, what the fuck is the point of that? How about we all come together, get on this song together, fuck all y'all beef that y'all got, and we just get this shit together and we get money together, you know, and have fun with it. And that's what went on.
A couple more questions on the deep side of things, man. Again, Sean, I as a fan, even hearing some of the things that you go through on this album, as a fan, it's like, damn, man, buddy was going through that. Like, you know, look, I ain't think I had the thought of suicide in me. So, like, show me all these different sides of me. I mean, we look at you, and not that money or success is everything, and it's all relative, but we look at you like you made it, like somebody that we aspire to be. Were you able to pinpoint the exact root of that feeling? And then what was the work that you did to overcome it? You know what I mean?
It was around the time... it was around the time I was moving into actually the crib I'm in now. and
Slash crib.
yeah,
We heard the lyric.
yeah, and I couldn't figure out why I was feeling so bad, because it was a lot of great things going on, but I just didn't feel good, and to be honest, it felt like I felt broken inside. I felt like something wasn't working, I couldn't figure it out. And, I come from a place where it's like that mentality of like, yo, you gotta go, you gotta get it, you gotta stay on their necks, you gotta stay hot. And I have been going back to back, album, project, collab project, album, like just back to back. And I guess I had burnt myself out. I felt super depressed. I had crazy anxiety. I felt an overflow of just life being way too hard to deal with. Every day was a struggle, even if I barely did anything. So I knew something was wrong. So I just cut off everything that I was doing, everything I lost a lot of money. I lost a lot of opportunities. The people I worked with, like as far as like managers and stuff, at first they didn't think it was the right thing, but then when they saw this condition and state I was in, they could tell I was broken, They could tell like my spirit wasn't even all the way there. So I had to figure this shit out. And I never experienced this, bro, because look, my grandparents was in World War II. My grandma, my granddad, right? They were a loving family, but they didn't show their emotions at all. And that trickled down to me. I didn't really know how to be emotional. And I had all these emotions and I didn't know how to express it. You know what I'm saying? So when I started doing therapy, when I started really strengthening spiritually myself, when I started putting myself as my first priority and enjoying life and realize that, I know that the universe is you give what you get, right? So, and you get what you give. So it's like if I'm feeling fucked up and I'm feeling all these ways, depressed and anxiety and like I don't even want to live, that's what I'm attracting to myself, right? So I knew I had to change my shit. And that's what I did. It took time. I just took time to myself. And luckily I'm in a position where I can afford that. That's something my dad could never afford. But he told me that after I went to therapy, he went to therapy. It inspired him to open up more and talk. You know what I mean? And I just took that time for myself, and what it did, dog, I rediscovered myself. Because I got to a point where I was just a machine, bro. I didn't even know what I liked anymore. I didn't even have no hobbies. I was just fucking like in the studio, and that's it, So I realized that you gotta put yourself first, because when you bring your best self to the table, that's when everything else turns out the best. You feel me? So it was a crazy moment, but I definitely felt broken, and I still feel depression and anxiety a lot, but I just know how to deal with it a lot better now. I know how to make it way less temporary, and to choose to be happy and to choose to get to it, as opposed to letting it bring me down.
Thank you for sharing it. And one of the reasons I ask is because I think it's helpful for people to hear that, like, and it's no small thing, and it's work to get past it, and then it's work also to maintain happiness, and I'm sure it's an ongoing thing. So
I think we'll be doing that until we're dead. I think that's like I think we'll be old men. Luckily, if we're lucky, we'll get to be old men and still be figuring ourselves out, but that's the journey of it. I realize how the reward really is the journey. It ain't nothing else but the journey. That's all life is.
hey, I'd imagine that these recording sessions are heavy. In making this album, do you learn anything about yourself as a producer, and working with Sean to work through these records and work through these emotions and really turn them into sounds? Like what do you go through? Because I'm sure it's not another day at the office.
Yeah, like I said earlier, like, trying to get into the mind of, somebody who's on the level of Big Sean, like, you gotta have a lot of patience, you know what I'm saying? So really, that's probably like the main thing, like really practicing on being patient. Because like I said, it was moments where I'm like, yo, you don't like this shit, bro? What the, like, you know what I'm saying? It'd be like, but then, it's just a piece of music at the end of the day. You can flip it, you can make it turn into something else, or you could do a whole completely new idea. It's just ways to go about it, and just not getting too caught up on, one idea, because when you get to that end goal and everybody happy, it feel even better versus just me, pushing my ideas on him. Like, you got to do this, you got to do this. Like, he like, okay, what if we do it this way? So it's all about just, I don't know, just combining it, just making it just the simplest it can be.
I'm not easy to work with. I'm not that easy to work with for sure.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say we have fun, like, you know what I'm saying.
For
We
sure,
kicked it
for
heavy,
sure,
like,
we did,
for sure.
we did. But I can for sure, and Hit too. Like Hit'll speak up too if something ain't right. He'll be like, you know, even if it's good, even if everybody in the room fuck with it, Hit'll be like, nah, like there needs to be something else, and I will too, you know. And that's what, because my life depends on this, you know. I know, and my whole thing about now when I make music is I want to make songs and write songs that people will get tattooed. Like I want to write tattoo lyrics. You know,
but that's been happening for you. You've seen this. I've seen it. You've seen it. People have Big Sean lyrics tattooed on them.
Yeah, for sure. And like when I look back on my life when I'm with my grandkids, I want them to like hear this music and it still relate to them and what they're going through, you know? So that's why I was like, man, I can't really focus on nothing too trendy. I got to focus on what really I'm going through, like how I'm feeling, because I know that they going to be relating to that when they get, or in some ways when they going through this part of their life, you know?
It's real, man. And I commend you. Again, I commend the both of you because, like I said in the intro, and I really believe this is a human album. I listen to it. I don't feel like
getting to the paper like it's human nature. You feel me?
Dawn Life is my favorite joint. The way, just when you think you can't flip Michael Jackson again because you heard every flip of MJ, I'm like, yo, this bump differently. You know what I'm saying?
It do. Yeah, and Wayne came on there. I didn't even think that. I thought he was gonna flip a new cadence because I feel like I got like a lot of those rhymes off in that cadence, and he came through. I don't know how he do that. He'll hear your cadence or something and do the exact same cadence and come up with a whole new ideas that you didn't even think of.
Well, that's mixtape Wayne. If you think about it, right?
I know it is. He flips people's beats. Yeah,
that's years of Show Me What You Got when he flipped the J shit. And honestly, I'm gonna get killed for saying this, but I connected more when Wayne did his rhymes over Show Me What You Got than Jay did. Like he just took it to another level for the streets.
Right.
So that's mixtape Wayne, and I think that's a testament to you because I think maybe if he didn't think your flow was like him hearing your verse and then being like, well, how else are you supposed to rhyme on this? This is the way you got to rhyme on it. He set the tone. I'm just gonna take the baton and go.
Nah, the respect Wayne got from me, obviously to me, Wayne is like GOAT status, you know what I'm saying? But the respect he has for me, it's like he always like will speak up and be like, man, you know, he think I'm one of the best too, you know? And I appreciate him for just riding for me like that. And you know, he'll speak up, he'll be vocal about it too. He even said it on songs. I remember on Dark Sky, he was like, you know, just saying it on there, you know? So it's like, Wayne, that's my brother for real. Like, you know, it's not like he making any money off of me. Like, I ain't signed to him. I ain't his artist. He ain't got to push me like that, you know, but he always does. So I appreciate him. And he just go crazy every time.
Nah, he definitely did. Before I get y'all out of here, I got one question, man. It's $1 million question. It's for the culture. It's for spans of generations. Your grandmother gonna appreciate this question. Your mom. For the rest of our life. Because I feel like y'all playing in our faces now. You had Stevie Wonder on the album.
Right.
And Stevie Wonder talking about seeing the piano for the first time. And I'm just like, make it make sense, dog. I need you to make it make sense for me.
Hey, that's what I said. When I posted the picture, I said he might got more vision than all of us because, you know, he see things differently, I guess. But the thing is, he was born blind, so he never saw from his eyes. But I guess he saw in a different way.
Right.
You know, because I was talking to him about the Clark Sisters movie, and he was like, yeah, I saw that movie. It was good. And I was like, okay. You know, he saw it in a different way. And that's not funny. I'm just saying.
No, that's real, though. That's wild.
He clearly is the greatest of all time.
Facts.
Stevie Wonder is the greatest. It's like, we don't even deserve to sit in a room with him. He is like the GOAT.
And he reached out to you, right?
He reached out to me. He's the greatest singer-songwriter of all time and more, period. And he's never seen anything. But his lyrics are so descriptive that's just a true testament of his greatness, you know? But yeah, he reached out to me about some whole different, like about COVID that was hitting hard in Detroit at the time, because Detroit was like the fourth largest city that had COVID, but it's like 16 times smaller than New York, 16, 20 times smaller than LA. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, it was weird that it had that many cases. And he was like, how do we help out? That was, and you know, we did a lot of behind the scenes stuff and through our foundations and charities. But then I explained to him the album I was working on. And he was like, oh, I got to be a part of it. Went to the studio with him towards the end of the album. And he was like, yeah, I'll definitely do a story for you. That sounds amazing, but let me hear some of the music. I played him the album and he was loving it, bro. And that to me was the most fulfilling part of the album process, was playing it for him and him to be, you know, after he heard Guard Your Heart, he like started clapping a little bit, you know. It was like, that's like, this music is good. And he gave me the, you know, he gave me the vibe that he was down to make music too, you know. So that's something I didn't want to rush though. You know, if that's going to happen, I wanted to make sure it happens right. So hopefully, you know, that would be amazing to see. So
Nah, we're gonna put that in the air for y'all, man. That would be absolutely astounding. But man, I just want to thank the both of y'all for one, creating the album. Again, like, this music means so much to us, and it's more than just entertainment. It's really a way of life. It's a way that we communicate. It's a Morse code in a lot of ways. It's a way to get jewels and pass on information.
thank you,
And
bro. That means everything. That was the whole goal.
I appreciate
and
Sean just let me be a part for sure.
and you know, man, I wish y'all all the success. Like, you know, I don't know what the next level of this looks like. You know, obviously if you stream well and, you know, the plaques and stuff like that, but whatever success looks like to you, man, I hope y'all achieve all of that, man. And I just
Damn.
appreciate y'all for coming through to talk about it.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Yeah, I appreciate you, man, I appreciate you for everything, dog. Over the years, really caring about this. You know, you can't pay somebody to care about your art and your work. You know what I'm saying? So when people like you who care about the culture, who care about the music, care about the story, care about the details, you know, to me, that is something that money can't buy. So I just appreciate you as a person, as a brother. And I got to tell you that and give you your roses, because we've been losing people left and right. And I don't know, you know, hopefully I see you soon.
Yeah.
I'm counting on it, but I counted on seeing Nipsey soon too. And I counted on seeing Kobe soon too, you know, and him coming through and hearing the music. I counted on all these people, you know, Chadwick. And it's just like, you know, I don't know. So I got to say, and to hit too, like, I love my brothers. I appreciate y'all. And let's just, you know, let's keep supporting each other, dog. Like, we all we got, for real.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate y'all brothers too. And I appreciate all of y'all for watching. It's Detroit too. This is a celebration of the music. So I'm going to be in the comments, in the YouTube comments with y'all. Y'all can talk about y'all favorite bars. Mine is a Hero in the Hood. When they dress like me, that's cosplay. I want to hear y'all favorite lyrics, y'all favorite songs, y'all favorite beats. We just going to talk about the album. It's a celebration. Thank y'all for watching. Sean Hit. Thank y'all for joining us, man.